Alright, this is your pre-lab video for the predicting precipitation reactions. What you're going to have, okay, this is going to be a quick rundown of what the lab is and then what you are expected to do. So your basic materials, okay, this is what we call a microscale lab, okay. So you're going to have a 12-well plate, okay. Obviously yours is going to look a lot better than mine, but still, you'll have a 12-well plate, and what you're going to do is you're going to use this 12-well plate to predict the result of potential chemical reactions based on the solubility rules, and then explain those reactions that do occur by giving me a balanced chemical equation. Okay? So, what you'll pretty much do is you're going to have solutions A and solutions B. Okay, now there's 4 different solutions for A and there's 4 different solutions for B. Okay? So, you are going to put, you know, 1 or 2 drops of A, or 1 to 3 drops of A in, 1 to 3 drops of B in, and then write down the reaction and notice what you observe. Okay. So, other safety materials you're going to need are your goggles, and have a little wash bottle. You're welcome to wear an apron if you need one, and then just make sure your station's cleaned up when you're done. Okay. I said 4, but you're actually getting 5 different A's and 5 different B's. And what those A and B's are, I'll go ahead and write them out for you. Okay. We have in our A category sodium iodide. Okay. And in fact, all of A's are all sodiums. We have sodium iodide, sodium carbonate, sodium phosphate, phosphate, sodium sulfate, and sodium hydroxide. Now, the concentration of these chemicals is going to be fairly low, just enough to see a reaction. But I would, it's a wise policy to always treat anything in the lab as if it would hurt you. Okay, especially the sodium hydroxide right here, because that's what we consider a strong base and can be very, detrimental to us. So we're going to be goggled up. You're going to have aprons on if you choose. Okay, but this is your collection of chemicals for A. Okay, your chemicals for B. Okay, are going to be, and we have a couple of different mixtures here. Here's B. We're going to have cobalt 2 chloride. We're going to have copper 2 sulfate. We're going to have aluminum sulfate, barium chloride, and then lastly, nickel 2 nitrate. Now, like I said, you're going to have all possible combinations of these 5 chemicals with these 5 chemicals, and you're going to, like I said, predict what the reactions are going to be, and then you're going to explain those reactions that occur in a chemical reaction. Now, or in a chemical equation. So, what type of pre-lab homework should you do in order to prepare for your quiz, that if you don't pass the quiz, you can't do the lab, is, one, first and foremost, make sure you know the formulas for sodium iodide, sodium carbonate, sodium phosphate, sodium sulfate, sodium hydroxide, let's see, cobalt 2 chloride, copper 2 sulfate, aluminum sulfate, barium chloride, and nickel 2 nitrate. Okay, one, I would make sure you know the formulas for those. And also, I may combine any one of those together, okay, and say, like, for example, you're going to get one question on that quiz. And that one question may be, you know, give me the balanced chemical equation when cobalt 2 chloride reacts with sodium phosphate, right? So cobalt 2 chloride and sodium phosphate. So you would get something just like this. I would give you two names, and I would be expecting you to give me the balanced chemical equation. Okay? So obviously you're not going to have cobalt 2 chloride and sodium phosphate because I'm going to do it right now for you. Okay? So the formula for cobalt 2 chloride, right? Cobalt is 2 plus, chloride is Cl minus, which means it would be COCl2. And then sodium phosphate is Na plus, and then the phosphate is PO4 3 minus, making this Na3PO4. All right. So what you're going to do is, like I said, make your chemical equation. So it'd be CO, ooh, not that CO. COCl2 plus Na3PO4. Okay, and it's going to react. Remember, precipitation reactions are going to result in the switching of the cations with the other cation. So, for example, this cobalt would pair up with the phosphate, and this sodium would pair up with the chloride. So, sodium chloride plus, in this case, cobalt 2 phosphate, cobalt 2 phosphate, PO4 2. Okay? So that would be my unbalanced equation. My balanced equation is going to be, let's see here, with 3 cobalts over here, I'm going to end up, so I have, what, 1 cobalt here, I have 2 chlorines there, I have 3 sodiums here, and I have 1 phosphate here, 1 sodium, 1 chlorine, 3 cobalts, and 2 phosphates. Alright, so based on that, I'm going to balance the equation. I'll end up with, say, start off with 3 sodiums, so I'm going to put a 3 there. That'll change that to 3. Okay, that means I would need 3 chlorides, okay, because I only have 2 over here. Well, obviously that's going to be a little tricky, right? So I'm going to go, I can't have 3, so I need 6, right? So I'm going to go 3 over here. Okay, that'll change this to 3, that'll change this to 6, right? I'll change this coefficient here to a 6 now. That changes this to a 6, and this was a 3, but I'm changing it to a 6 now. Okay, so my chlorides are balanced. My sodiums are no longer balanced, so I'm going to put a 2 here. That'll change that to a 6, and that'll change this to a 2. Okay, so I have, let's take a look. 3 cobalts on that side, 3 cobalts on that side. 6 chlorides on that side, 6 chlorides on that side, 6 sodiums on that side, 6 sodiums on that side, 2 phosphates, and 2 phosphates. So, my overall balanced equation, if I was to rewrite it, let's go ahead and go it in red, and we'll go on the bottom here. 3COCl2 aqueous, okay, plus 2 Na3PO4, also aqueous, forming 6 NaCl, which is aqueous because I can look at the solubility rules. And then the last one is cobalt phosphate, and I only have one of them, cobalt phosphate, but cobalt phosphate is a solid. Okay? So, I would give you this red, right? And I need a final answer like that, including the states, including if they're soluble or not. You will be given the solubility rules, so don't feel like you need to memorize them. That would be ridiculous. I will make sure that you have the solubility rules available to you. Okay? So, I'm going to give you names of two compounds, and you're going to get an equation. Lucky for you, as it turns out, this cobalt 2 chloride and sodium phosphate is probably one of the harder ones. I know they're about all the same difficulty for the most part once you've done enough of them, but if you do all of them, then you should be in pretty good shape. Okay, so be prepared. If you guys have any questions, send me an email or ask me in class before lab starts.